What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So as you can see, we are joined by a little special guest in the background today. Mittens has decided to be a part of this video, so he's just going to be chilling back here the whole time. Hopefully he doesn't do anything too distracting. So the past few weeks have been kind of a pivotal moment in my life. A lot of emotions came up, a lot of tears were shed, some big decisions were made, and I feel different. Everything kind of feels different now. For the better, definitely. But the question of God came up a lot for me. What I mean by the question of God is who or what God is. If you've seen some of my other videos, I've mentioned this before, but I grew up in the Christian faith, and those beliefs were instilled in me at a pretty young age. And so I have kind of deviated from the church in the past few years and have explored other spiritual avenues. And I have found that by exploring these other spiritual paths and interests of mine, it's brought me so much closer to God. I just feel so much more spiritually connected than I ever have. And I'm still grappling with the idea of who or what God is. That's just been kind of a lingering question that I haven't really figured out yet. And my Virgo moon mind is very analytical and wants to figure out and sort through my thoughts. And so this question kept coming up. I need to figure this out. I want to know God. I want to experience God. I want to see, hear, taste, touch, smell, feel, sense God in every way. And I just been praying about that a lot. And so this question was weighing pretty heavily on my heart this morning, and I started to write about it a lot for like several hours, and I feel like I came to a pretty good conclusion, I guess. I was like, wow, I need to make a video about this. I feel like I really explained it well the way I wrote it, and instead of trying to regurgitate everything that I wrote, I figured it would just be easier for me just to read it, because I also talk a lot about the way our language affects the meanings behind things, and I really like the language that I used. I placed a big emphasis on the language that I used when I was writing this. So I decided that I would just read everything that I wrote and save myself several hours of editing out all the parts where I pause and say So that's gonna be nice. So yeah, let me just get my little reading glasses on here and let's ponder the question of God, I guess. Okay, here we go. So lately I've been grappling with the mystery of God. Who is God? Or perhaps more accurately, what is God? Well, first and foremost, God is just a word that we have invented. It's a pretty broad term that has been loosely defined because it means something different to everybody. I don't think there could ever be one universally accepted concept of God. So beyond this then, what is the general idea of what we use this word to refer to? Since the meaning of God is so big and vague, I think it is up to the individual to discover who or what God is and establish his or her beliefs on it. The Bible tells us in Genesis 1:27 that God created man in his own image. But I'm starting to think that it's the other way around. We humans are very egocentric. We tend to define and interpret things based on our relation to it. How does it fit into the scope of our own comprehension? How is it relevant to our own lives and our own world? But I suppose it has to be that way in order to communicate ideas and establish any beliefs at all. We must reach up and grasp these concepts and bring them down to the throat chakra by giving them a name and using our language to assign them a meaning. But the consequence of this process is that it puts these obscure concepts into a box and imposes boundaries on their meaning. It limits the extent of their depth and reach. So for instance, if a certain religion defines and confines this primordial source of energy under the title of God and binds it to a certain set of beliefs, then any one or any thought that steps outside of this jurisdiction is deemed unholy and unjustified. I think that is why so many people are turned off by church and religion, because those who doubt God and ask questions tend to be persecuted. The church may say, well, why are you even questioning God in the first place? This is who He is, and this is what we believe, and you are self-righteous to think otherwise, when in reality, the church and the religion is actually the self-righteous one, because they are the ones who are so certain and so fixed on the truths that they have set for themselves that they are incapable of seeing it any other way. They claim that their way is the only way and everyone else has it wrong. And of course, I'm not speaking for all churches and religions. They are not all this way. But just from my personal experience, I know that this is the way that many of them operate. Anyway, my point in all of this is to say that language is so limiting. Our human perception is so limiting. We try our best to understand who and what God is, yet the very act of speculating over it is limiting it. I think that we've gravitated towards creating God in our image because that's really all we have to go off of. We personify God and call God a he. We think about God in human terms. We talk about God in earthly languages. We treat God like he is of this world, but God is this world. That seems to be the greatest distinction. We are of this universe. God is the universe. And when I say that we are of this universe, I am not implying that we are separate from it, but that we are a tiny piece of it. We are a microcosmic expression of the whole. So in that context, how do you even begin to comprehend the totality of what God is? It is impossible to grasp the scope of what God is because there is no scope. God is limitless. God is everything. God is us, expressing himself in billions of different ways. We are God becoming conscious of himself. We are creation appreciating its own beauty. How can you put God into words? How can you create rules around God? What does it mean to devote your life to God? And how can you even follow God if God is everything? I suppose in the Christian religion the idea is to follow Jesus, not God, because Jesus came to earth to set an example and give us a tangible set of practices that we can implement in our own lives to strengthen our connection with God. Therefore, Jesus, Krishna, Buddha, they are all the ones that we can choose to follow because they are the ones who have incarnated into this physical realm to show us the way, to be an example, to pave the spiritual path. Therefore, different religions were created around these different super-conscious humans to maintain their legacy and teach their practices towards the path of enlightenment, the path of Christ consciousness. But the goal is all the same, to achieve complete union with God, to transcend the limitations of this 3D world, see through the illusion, and return to the source. There are numerous routes to take, but the destination is the same. In fact, there's an infinite amount of routes to take, because no two beings are exactly alike. Religions just offer a pre-paved path to follow. I think they can be a great place to start, but what I've come to realize is that God is not just the destination. God is the journey as well. Like I said earlier, God is everything. God is all of these different routes we can take towards him. He is not just the destination. Therefore, what I have found in my personal journey is that by exploring other avenues of spirituality, I'm able to deepen my connection with God. Ever since I kind of deviated from the church and pursued other interests, I feel closer to God than I've ever felt before. For some reason, I've always had this strong fascination with alternative ways of living. I want to know what other people are doing, what they believe, how they behave, what is possible for them, etc. Because I guess I just have this innate skepticism for what I'm told. I always want to know the other side of the story, the complete picture, because you can't get the complete picture from just one person, from one culture, one religion, one belief system, not even one lifetime. I believe that it takes an eternity to get the complete picture, because there's always going to be more to learn and experience. So that is why I find it so effective to explore other paths of spirituality, other systems of belief, and other meanings of God. And the same way that God is experiencing himself through everyone and everything, I am experiencing God through everyone and everything. And each day, it brings me closer and closer to him. Each day, I am able to push past the boundaries and transcend the limitations of my own beliefs. And this approach to life has rejuvenated my joy. It has reignited the childlike wonder that fuels my passion for all life and creation. I find inspiration everywhere I go. It sparks my creativity and plants seeds of desire to know more. I'm starting to see God in everyone and everything. I'm starting to hear God in conversations with others. I'm starting to feel God move through me in the form of my thoughts and emotions. I'm starting to experience God in the places I go. I'm starting to sense the presence of God on a daily basis. I'm starting to connect with God in ways I've never done before. I'm starting to love God more and more every day. And this has elevated my vibration to a whole new level. The whole world is colorful and beaming with love and light. There is so much to explore, so much to experience, so many places to go, so many people to talk to, so much to learn, so much to feel, and so much of God to know and understand. It is an infinite quest of self-discovery, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it. So yeah, that is what I wrote today. At least for me, it kind of helped me understand more about who God is, and I guess justify my choice to kind of step outside of the church a little bit and explore other things. Maybe I feel the need to justify myself, I don't know. But I don't know. I just like the way that I worded it. It made a lot of sense to me. It kind of helped me understand all of this better, so hopefully it will help someone else out there understand God better. And one of my next videos, I'll probably go a little bit into what's been going on personally with me and the changes that I've made in my life. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it at this. So yes, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one, okay? Stay woke.